Okay, so after a brief hiatus there, almost 2 years off of YouTube. I mean, I kind of forgot about the YouTube channel entirely, and I never realized people were still waiting for an updated toolbox tour. So if you're a new viewer, I'll give you a quick recap. Basically, I bought this Snap-on toolbox for $6,000 Canadian. There's a bunch of incentives with it, $1,500 factory rebate, blah blah blah, tax savings. So I bought it for $6,000 Canadian, and as part of the deal, I got $4,500 in free tools, whatever you want. So that was pretty sweet. So I took advantage of that, and I bought the box. I've been using it for about 2 years ish, and it's been great. It's a really nice box, but I've got it back at home now. I'm moving into a F350 service truck, so I got to clear all my stuff out of it. And I thought, you know what, maybe this would be a time to do a updated toolbox tour. So I'm gonna run through it. I can't remember exactly what I had before and what I have now. That was part of the 4,500, but if I know something was definitely included in the 4,500, I'll be sure to point that out. Obviously I won't have the grand total totally added up. There's going to be some things here and there that I may have missed or I've bought since. So we'll just go ahead and start with the top drawer again. Go over the metric stuff. So at the back here, I got this 32 mil socket. I needed one. I can't remember. There's a certain job I was doing, and I had done it a lot of times. So I said, all right, I'll get that. Um, What else? I don't think there was much in the way of metric sockets. Most of that stuff has all remained the same, as well as the 3/8 drive stuff. A lot of it's Canadian Tire, some uh, Mac tool stuff mixed in with all that, and a couple. I've got a 14.0 to 13.0 just doing home jobs and whatnot. Quarter inch has remained the same. The semi-deep snap-on chromies. Um, had those. They're still working really good. I really like them. My 13 is out. I was doing something on my snowmobile. These tap sockets, they're a Lyle. I could buy supplemental stuff that Snap-on sells, so I took advantage of some of the Lyle stuff. They work really nice. Sometimes you need a couple of the bigger sizes. I haven't bought them yet because they don't really. I don't need them very often, but these smaller ones come in handy. All these adapters. So 3/4 to half. Um, I think this is half to 3/4. Yeah, this is half to 3/8, 3/8 to quarter, 3/8 to half. I've got this is a Stanley 3/8 to quarter, and then I've got a quarter to 3/8 chrome. So there's some impacts mixed in, um, as well as the couple chromies I have. Moving on, I got some wobble extensions. These are Snap-on Chrome wobble extensions. These are not the wobble locks. These are just the wobbles. I think I may have had these in the last video. They came with my Flank Drive Extra SAE Snap-on Chromie Semi-Deeps. So I think I had these before. This 20-inch, it's a Maximum Mastercraft from Canadian Tire. It works pretty good. I bought it for a transmission job that I was doing on a GM half ton. This here, this is the Mac Tools L49000. It's for doing brake chamber caging bolts. These are just some regular extensions. These I just got from Black Friday. It was an Amazon sale on the Gear Wrench Impact half-inch extensions. So the whole kit of them I think was for 60 bucks Canadian. So I just bought them. Good to have. I mean, my extensions, none of them are even impact. They're just black. And they've done well, but it's time to get some more serious extensions with a variety of different sizes to add to the arsenal. So that's basically this, and then these they're a Mastercraft, like a swivel socket. They've come in handy some of the times. I prefer if they were magnetic, but you know, for I think 10 bucks, you know, you get what you pay for. They've come in handy a couple times. I don't use them a whole lot. So moving on to this little miscellaneous box, I got some more extensions. There's a 1/4 inch in there. I think most everyone's seen those before. Actually, these are new. This blowgun, that's just it's a blowgun. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. These are Mastercraft as well. I got these for my birthday. My girlfriend got them for me. They're a ball end hex. I got a full set of them. They're the long length ones. I've used these quite a bit. They're pretty handy. You can't really use an impact on them, but they get into some pretty tight spots and they make life easy. So no complaints there. A couple other miscellaneous things in there. Measuring tape, that's a maximum. It works really nice. It's got this stopper in here, so when you hold it like this, you can put your finger on it to stop the tape from coming back in. Works as good as it will. Moving on, we got this just miscellaneous crap that I threw in my box after I left the shop. These here are the Astro Nano sockets. These are friggin' awesome. You can drive them with a 3/8 drive ratchet, or you can put a 7/8, I think, wrench or ratchet wrench on them to get into tighter spots, and they work fantastic. They're impact rated. They came with a nice little slide rail. I think they were about 70 bucks Canadian, so I picked those up for cheap. I'm really happy with them so far. I've only used them a couple times here and there. Part of the 4500 is this snap-on half-inch, I think it's a pinned swivel. It works good. I mean, it's just a swivel after all. Not a huge fan of the pin detent rather than a ball detent. You gotta push it with a screwdriver or whatever. It is what it is, right? It's still nice enough. You'll see a couple of these ratchet docks in a minute there. Again, miscellaneous crap. So I think you guys saw this Maxion Cyclops, made in Canada, I believe. Super powerful light. I really like it. Doesn't really last too long on the full brightness setting, but it does light up a lot. So I'll be buying another one of those fairly soon, I think. These are just shaded glasses for cutting. And you shouldn't really use them for welding because I think they're only like a shade 7. You could use them, but you'll get UV burns on your face, so not advisable. Snap-on half-inch or inch and a half-inch drive shallow socket, part of the 4500. Couple other miscellaneous larger size half-inch drive sockets, inch and a half deep. They're just ultra pro. I got them from Traction or Napa's heavy duty version for trucks and equipment. That's what Traction is. A lot of different sizes that I've needed over the years. SAE stuff has pretty much remained the same. I haven't really added much to it. A couple sockets out right now. Same with the 3/8, same with the quarter drive. I believe I had these Torx bits last time. Snap-on Torx. They're nice. It's good. I'm not a huge Snap-on advocate. I mean, I say this as I've got Snap-on box and whatnot, but they're warranted for life, and my rep was fairly decent, and he would just warranty whatever, so that was good. Jet Torx security bits, they're all right. A couple of them are broken, and I don't have a Jet dealer anymore, so whatever, it is what it is. Okay, so these are the ratchet docks I was talking about. I'll touch on those as soon as I go over my ratchets. I believe, oh yeah, and the flank drive, I think these were in the last video. The flank drive extra. They came with those, or the metric came with those, and then the SAE came with this long handle comfort grip 3/8 ratchet. That was in the last one. I believe that might have been in the last one. These Jet ratchets, the Stanley ratchet, those were all in the last one, as well as my torque wrench. This one is new. This half-inch flex head extra long jobber. This is super handy for getting the real ignorant bolts out. That was part of the 4500. I think that was like a $400 ratchet. Unfortunately, as part of the 4500, I couldn't get anything for sale price. That's just how it worked out, which isn't a huge deal. It is what it is. I can't remember if the quarter drive ratchet was in the last video, but it was really handy. I do need a flex head one because I like that one. But I've also been looking at the Olsa tools, flex head 1/4 inch. They're pretty nice. So moving on to the ratchet docks. These are made by Apex Organizers. They're a 3D printed ratchet dock, and they work for a multitude of different um, ratchet brands, predominantly Snap-on, but as you can see, I fit my jet ratchets in there. I got my Precision Instruments torque wrench in there, so they will fit all kinds of different stuff. They got a little magnet on the bottom to hold them securely in place. I really like them. I'm really impressed with them. I'm not a huge fan of 3D printed stuff. I was apprehensive about buying them, but these turned out really nice. They got all kinds of different colors you can get, so I like them. I thoroughly enjoy them. They make it it's just so much nicer to stack everything up in a row. It saves room, so really happy with that. So I think that's pretty much it for this drawer right now. To the wrench drawer, you may remember, any of my returning viewers may remember, I had the gear wrench ratchet wrenches. Really nice. I got those. They say gear wrench on them, but they also say maximum. So I bought them from Canadian Tire, but they're branded gear wrench and maximum. So I thought, you know what? Can't go wrong, because if something happens to it, you walk into Canadian Tire, they'll warranty it without question. You break it, you snap it, whatever. You just bring it to them, and they say go pick a new one off the shelf. So it's kind of hard to argue with that. These here are bleeder wrenches. I've done a lot of automotive stuff in the past. I bought these to help me out, and they're fantastic. They're Snap-on. This one is 5/16 and 3/8, I believe, if the camera would focus there. Yeah, so they're 5/16 3/8, and then this one is 10 mil and 11 mil. So they work as good as they will. I like them. So these here, I don't think these were in the last video. These are the Mac Precision Torque wrenches. I prefer the Mac ones to the Snap-on. They're more rounded. They feel better in your hands. The weight is really good. The Snap-on ones just, in my opinion, can't hold a candle to it. That's, again, my opinion. Everyone's got their preference. I really like these. I got the metric set of 6 mil to 32 mil, no skips, everything all the way through. And they came with these nice little holders. So I got the metrics first for $450. They were on sale, and then 6 months later the standards came on sale. So I bought those, and they were, I believe, 1/4 inch. That's 1/4 inch there, all the way up to 1.25 inch, no skips. So that was $520. Really hard to go wrong for something I use multiple times a day, every day. It's really no question of value there. Miscellaneous cutoff wrenches that I've made. Pry bar. This is the smaller Mac long pry bar. The bigger one is out somewhere. I had those in the last video. They're really good. That one's new though, in the back. That is the Gear Wrench Indexing Extra Long Pry Bar. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. It works great. It's tough. It's reliable. The mechanism has not failed me yet. Really, really handy to have for certain things. I was doing an engine job in a Toyota forklift, and I couldn't get a regular pry bar in there, so I adjusted that one, and I got it in there to pop the motor mounts out. That works excellent for the amount of times I've used it. The stubby metric wrenches, my SAE ones are out. Those are fairly new, but they're a Mastercraft as well, so they're out in my mess of a garage somewhere. Okay, so now we got the wrench drawer, or the plier drawer, sorry. We skipped the wrench drawer. Not too much has changed. I got the channel lock cable cutters for doing battery cables. I got the larger Knipex, I think they're the Cobras, the adjustable Cobra with the press detent. Those are handy as all fuck. I really like them. They were part of the 4500 and free tools. Those Knipex, those ones I already had. Most of the other stuff has remained the same, other than I bought a new set of vice grips. And the large pair of oil filter pliers. Those are great for doing like a Cat 1R1807, 1R1808, or the Cummins. I can't remember what the Cummins number is for their big oil filter on the ISXs, but that works awesome. Um, Hose pinch pliers, everything else is, it's already been in the last video, so that's pretty much it for that one. Oh, and I got these Maximum, the smaller set of um, okay, I think they call them the flush cutters, flush cut pliers, I think they're called. So there's that for the plier drawer. And then for the screwdrivers, I got this set as part of the free tools, and I needed a better set of screwdrivers. I wanted a nice set of Snap-on comfort grip screwdrivers. I think that's what they call it, is comfort grip. But I really like these. They're super nice. These ones do not get used as pry bars. That's what these ones are for. These ones have all stayed the same. We got the extra length SAE and metric and Torx hex, or not hex keys, but Allen wrenches. So these are super nice for getting into tighter spots where you can't fit like a hex or Torx socket on a ratchet. You pop these in there. Obviously, people know what those are for. And the extra length just gives you that little bit more leverage. I still got my Stanley ones that are a little bit shorter for tighter work, but those still work. Those ones work really nice. So that's pretty much it with the screwdrivers. You know, I mean, really nice grip. Feels good in your hand. I think the tips are magnetic, I believe. You know what? If I were to buy another set of the screwdrivers that didn't come for free, because these were about $300 and something, I'd probably just go with the Williams route, because Williams makes the screwdrivers for Snap-on. They just change the handle. I'd probably just buy the Williams, if I'm being completely honest. And actually, that's one thing I forgot in the wrench drawer. This here adjustable. This one here is a Crescent. This one here is a Baco. And if you'll notice, the Baco is the exact same as the Snap-on for a fraction of the price. There's the number right there, 8073, and it says Baco right on it. For the price of it, I'll just buy the Baco ones because I've never broken an adjustable. I don't put pipes on my adjustables. I've never broken one, and they fit the same tolerances as the Snap-on ones. So it's really hard to go wrong when you're paying a third of the price for the same adjustable wrench. Okay, so the I don't know what you want to call this drawer. It's got a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. I got the smaller Mac pry bars still. Carbide scrapers by Mac in the back there. Those were in the last video. Panel, panel, I guess pry bars you could call them. These are Mac extra long O-ring picks. These were on sale. I got them for a wicked good deal. So I just picked them up. Why not? These are the Snap-on O-ring picks. I got those as part of the 4500 and free tools. They're pretty nice. I only bought them because my Mac ones had started to go missing, break, you know, stuff like that. The handles aren't covered under warranty, so I accidentally drove over one of the handles with an excavator track, so it messed it up pretty bad. He wouldn't warranty it, so I thought, okay, whatever. This one I did get warranted, and at the time they didn't have, or now they don't stock those handles anymore, so they gave me this one. Not great because it doesn't fit too good in the little plastic tray. Not ideal, but it is what it is. These here are the Matco pry drivers. So they look like a screwdriver, but they got a strikeable cap, and they're kind of meant to be a pry bar. They work okay. You know, sometimes I wish the tip was a little bit more fine, but they do work pretty nice in the instances where you really want to jam something in there and pry it loose. No complaints. The extra long ladyfoot or heel bar was part of the 4500 and tools, and works just as good as all my other heel bars. You know, it's being Snap-on doesn't have anything to do with it. It just came with the free tools, or I bought it with the free tools, so whatever, right? going on to the hammer drawer. These here are new. They're new last week. They're the Matco O-ring removal tools. Haven't tried them out yet. Obviously, they're still in the packaging. And yeah, they're Matco, but I got a pretty good deal on them. The new rep we have is pretty good, so I bought these. I know Matco's, they're rebranded Mayhew or something like that for whatever they were, 40 bucks. I'll take it. Hammers have all remained the same. I got a new strap wrench because my other one, something happened to it. I think it grew legs after somebody borrowed it. We'll talk about that in a second. And these are snap-on punches and chisels. Come with the free tools. They work pretty nice. They work a lot better than the cheap set I had before. And they come with the gauge to check the tips. So, I mean, you can file them down or take them to the bench grinder and fix them up if you have to. Not too bad. Those are lenses for my welding shield. And then in here, this is the Ernst Manufacturing organizer tray. So it works awesome for keeping all this little loose miscellaneous crap in one spot, out of the way. I managed to fit it in with all my hammers and stuff. So I'm really impressed with that. In here is just for the 1/4 inch hex impact gun. I got a 1/2 inch drive, a 1/4 inch drive. My 3/8 is out. These are all nut drivers here, the Milwaukees. They work really nice. You know, if you don't want to pop a socket onto one of those, you just use these. They're not too bad. This here is the stretchy belt installer for GM new 5.3 liter. Stupid design. I don't know why they went to a stretchy belt. I mean, I'm sure it makes sense to somebody, but it's a pain in the ass for me when you don't go and buy that tool. I had to wait from GM for about 3 weeks to have that. So, you know, we managed to wreck a belt putting it on, and we got it by on the side of the highway, which was not ideal, especially when, you know, this is the brand new 2021 first Chevy we had, and it threw a belt off because the alternator seized. And, you know, now we're on the side of the highway and we're like, oh, what do we do? So, you know, it is what it is. Couple of miscellaneous extractors, drill bits, knife, hole punch, glass cleaners, random stuff in there, a couple keys, little, I call them my toothbrushes. There's a copper and a stainless, and then there was a plastic one that melted. Oops. Those are just for cleaning up little mating surfaces and whatnot. So I'm really impressed with the Ernst Manufacturing organizer. That is definitely going to go in the truck to keep all this stuff organized and safe. And then moving on to I call it the power drawer. It's not actually a power drawer, but it's where all my power tools are. So we'll call it the power drawer. I'm sure most of this stuff has all been seen before. I got the addition of a couple batteries. And then the air hammer. That was part of the free tools as well. Again, I'm not a huge Snap-on is the best kind of guy, but that thing right there is fantastic. There's not another air hammer on the planet that I've seen that'll do what that thing does. So I'm super impressed with that. And it came in my color, orange. So we'll make do with it, I guess. Empty glove box, I guess that can go bye-bye. My garage is a mess right now anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that. And then down here is the case drawer. I can't remember if in the last video I had all the cases up in the drawer above or if they were down here. I can't remember for the life of me. But anyway, I got this Blue Point extractor set. I know 2 or 3 other techs that have this kit, and they say they're the best extractors. There's drill bits and... no, they're not left-hand. I thought they were left-hand, but there's drill bits included in it, and there's a little guide in there to tell you what drill bit to use for what size of extractor. So I've used it maybe once or twice, and for both of those times it's worked pretty well, so I'm impressed with that. This is the Mac razor scraper set. It was fairly cheap, and it came with 100 free razor blades, so I needed a long handle scraper at the time, so the kit was on sale for 100 bucks. I bought it. I think all the rest of this stuff has remained the same. Maybe Oh, those Blue Point, that's a master set of shallow hex bit sockets, non-impact. Um, so those were part of the free tools as well. And then the H-bar puller may have been in the last video, may not have been. So there's that. Obviously the master set of hex bit sockets. This is a serpentine belt kit. It's the gear wrench. I believe it was in the last video, and I can't remember what's under my seal driver. Oh, my bushing driver. So I got the seal and bushing driver all together from Mac. I think I may have said that before. And then this is my tap and die kit underneath. Long Torx Mac bits, still really good. Non-impact, but they go on the impact, so whatever. So I'll put this back in here. And we'll move over to this. It's not a junk drawer, but I got a lot of stuff in here. This here is it's a Deutsch terminal service kit. It's got the crimper, it's got the insertion tools, and I think it's got a couple of release tools. It works super nice. I think it was only $160, which, you know, when you go to Toromont Cat or John Deere and you price out the same kit, they want like $350, so worth it in my opinion. This is an empty Milwaukee pack out. I was using it for hydraulic caps and plugs. And this here is the knife puller, the bearing knife puller. I'm not going to pull that out because a bunch of other stuff will fall. Mac tools, it's quite nice when you need to get a bearing off and you can't fit like a 2-jaw or 3-jaw puller on there. These are my Mastercraft wrenches that I had. I put them in my Mac tools, the little wrench holder that came with the Precision Torx, and then these are good for if you have to run to a quick service call or something, you grab all your wrenches and they're right there. So I got the standard and the metrics. Oops. Milwaukee M18 charger, some more of the actual Precision Torque wrenches that I couldn't fit in my drawer. Pickle fork set, coolant funnel kit with all the adapters. That one's the Lyle. Used it 2 or 3 times and it's worked great every time. So no complaints about that. Everything else has remained the same in here. Anyway, I got my map gas with my torch. My that right there is a ball joint separator or tie rod separator for use on smaller vehicles. I had to do a little car, so I bought that. It's an OTC. Yeah, that's the Mac, or well, it's a Lyle rebranded as Mac caliper piston pusher. And then this is the OTC windshield wiper armor mover. I've used this quite a few times. This was part of the free tools as well. So that's that. In here, this is my electrical drawer-ish. Couple different things. I got the Lyle, I think they're a Lyle. I can't remember. These are brake line stoppers. So this one you can put on a whatever size brake line, stop the brake fluid from flowing. There was one in here that you could use on the hose, the brake hose that goes onto the caliper, because as you know, the banjo bolt goes through it and it's got a hole. So it's got 2 rubber pieces and it just clamps on, and then you can whip your caliper off, and if you got to change a caliper, if you want to paint the caliper, if you're going to sandblast the caliper, whatever you're doing with it, throw that on and it'll stop the brake fluid from dripping out. You don't have to bleed the system or drain the system and then refill it and bleed it. This here is the snap-on bumper tool. So you can hook it up to your starter, obviously, and then do that. So say your ignition switch goes, or not, sorry, not your ignition switch, but maybe your solenoid goes, you can't get to it or whatever, you got to bump an engine over, test something out, hold the button down, it'll crank it over, no big deal. New snap-on torch, because my old one grew legs. That was quite the problem when a certain apprentice started. Warranted test light, haven't used it yet. Test lead kit. It's supposed to be for back probing, but I don't back probe because I don't believe in it. If I'm going to do anything, I'm going to get the spoons and put the spoons at the back of a connector instead of starting to go around poking wires. I don't believe in that, and I don't condone it at all. Multimeter, same one as before, except it's in a case now. And then this is just an inspection camera from Canadian Tire. It was 40 bucks, so I bought it because my King one decided to stop working. And then there's my 100 razor blades as part of that scraper kit. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole tour. Try to shorten it up a little bit, run through stuff more quickly because it's already at half an hour. So that's pretty much it. And then once I get all this stuff transferred, and then maybe on a warmer day, I'll do a service truck tour of how I have everything laid out once I get it all set up properly. So I just want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.